U.S. President Donald Trump is claiming credit for Qatar being isolated by her neighbors in the Gulf region after being accused by Saudi Arabia of sponsoring the Islamic State. In a tweet tied to his visit to Saudi Arabia, the president said, and quote, "During my recent trip to the Middle East, I stated that there can no longer be funding of radical ideology. Leaders pointed to Qatar. Now look." Meanwhile, relations between Qatar and her neighbors are being further strained by the rift.
While the diplomatic split strains relations between Qatar and its neighbors in the Gulf, the ripple effect is also being felt in the global oil market, in the international airspace, in Qatari food stores and elsewhere. The small oil-rich desert state relies on imports for food and other supplies, as most of its imports come in from Saudi Arabia. Local people and foreigners living in Qatar have been rushing to supermarkets for fear of food and water shortages after Saudi announced the closure of land border ports in the Gulf's biggest diplomatic crisis in years. Qatar has also stopped accepting foreign currencies, including UAE dirhams and Saudi riyals, except at the currency exchanges in Qatar's airports, leading to crowds at the money exchanges for US dollars. At the airport and at Qatar Airways office in Saudi Arabia, the situation is the same. Passengers and customers queued at the airline's office in Riyadh after flights were stopped. 6 Arab nations, including Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt and Bahrain, cut ties with Qatar, accusing it of supporting Islamist groups and destabilizing the region. But Qatar has repeatedly and strongly denied the allegation.
In London, police have named the third man in the London Bridge attack as 22-year-old Yusuf Zagba, a Moroccan-Italian. He and the other two, Kuram Butt and Rachid Redane, drove a hired van into pedestrians on the bridge before stabbing people in the area around Borough Market. The Italian police have confirmed that Zagba, who lived in East London, had been placed on a watch list which is shared with many countries, including the UK. Back in March last year, officers stopped him at Bologna Airport and found IS-related materials on his mobile phone. He was then stopped from continuing his journey into Istanbul. And from there, it's now time for sports news, and here's Charles Aru.
Welcome to Sports News. Super Eagles coach Gernot Rohr has set his sights on a win over South Africa in Saturday's 2019 African Cup of Nations qualifier in Uyo. The German acknowledges that the clash with the 1996 AFCON champions will be tough. 24 invited players began intensive preparations ahead of the big encounter. The South African Football Association has confirmed that Bafana Bafana will arrive in Uyo tomorrow.
The message is that we want to try to continue our good series and to win again. But we know that this team now, I think, will be the most difficult team that we met since I'm here. So everybody must know that it will be difficult for the young players. 4 experienced players are not here. There will be young one, but I think the Nigerians can have confidence. They will fight, they will play, they will give the best.
We don't want to make it to look like as if it's a do-or-die affair, but we want to use this as an opportunity to make sure that we try to pay back to what has happened in the past. Because everything, we have it upstairs, and we are here to make up for all those mistakes that we have done in the past.
Well, the Spanish La Liga will set up academies in Nigeria to help in the development of football in Nigeria. La Liga signed a partnership with Legacy Sports to begin the process of making the league popular in Nigeria. Chairman of the league management company, Shehu Diko, said the partnership will also impact on the Nigeria Professional Football League. And in Europe, German Cup winners Borussia Dortmund have presented new head coach Peter Bosz to succeed the sacked Thomas Tuchel. The Dutchman joined Dortmund from Ajax Amsterdam over a 2-year deal. Dortmund, who will compete in next season's Champions League group stage, sacked Tuchel 3 days after winning the German Cup on May the 27th. The 53-year-old former Dutch international steered Ajax to the Europa League final this season, where they lost to Manchester United 2-0. In tennis, Switzerland's Timea Bacsinszky has reached the French Open semi-finals for the second time with a rain-hit 6-4, 6-4 win over home favorite Kristina Mladenovic. The 27-year-old, who also made the last four in 2015, will face Jelena Ostapenko after the unseeded Latvian edged past Danish Caroline Wozniacki 4-6, 6-2, 6-2. And that's game, set and match on Sports News, and back to Ladi with the rest of the news at 10.
And the main news again. A federal high court in Lagos today ordered the final forfeiture of money in various currencies amounting to 13 billion naira found at an apartment in Ikoyi to the federal government. Also today, the acting president, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, wrote to the National Assembly requesting approval of a $1.49 billion external loan for 12 states. And U.S. President Donald Trump also today claimed credit for the Arab states' severance of ties with Qatar over alleged sponsorship of terrorism. And that's it on the news at 10 tonight. Thanks for joining us. My name is Ladi Akiriduluale. Do have a pleasant night's rest.